Yeah.
Philip was always gallivanting.
Gallivanting.
That's an old
He was
person.
prancing about.
Yeah.
Prancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we going back to the ferry thing?
I fly away, okay? With glitter coming out and everything.
Now, what's your family thinking about this? Because you have 3 other brothers,
Yeah.
and your family is very tight.
Yeah.
You guys, whenever there's a family gathering, it's the 4 of you.
Yes.
And the crazy thing, folks, is like me and Danny and Ray are called the Ramos brothers, but in Danny's family, they are the Ramos brothers. So it's kind of like what, second generation?
I mean,
all right. I mean, it's just kind of weird to hear it that way. It's like, oh yeah, that is.
How has your relationship changed with them?
It grew more. The fact that seeing their little brother actually like having to go through something like this, and like, it was funny because I was talking to Johnny and he was like, after we found out about the car accident, there was kind of just like this weird energy there. So to lighten it up and like lighten up the stress, they started doing jokes.
Right.
And stuff, and I think that's Johnny was saying like that was the best way for me and Donovan to cope with it, is just to make jokes about it.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, these guys call me from the hospital. Your dad is getting checked up by the doctor, and they're saying, "Hey, you remember that time you hit like Danny a couple days ago? Yeah, I gave him a heart attack." Like, oh, totally serious.
Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah. They called me at work, and I'm like, "Okay, let me pull over. What's going on?" Yeah, Danny had a heart attack. You hit him. And that somehow, I was like, what? And I'm just in my head like, wait, is that possible? Is that real? I mean, is he really in the hospital? And then you hear the doctor just cracking up.
Did you tell him what actually happened, though?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I found.
There you go. Say it.
So, what actually happened was, I think it was around Nico's birthday. Mm-hmm. And usually what we do on someone's birthday, we take a shot at midnight.
Okay.
And so we took a shot at midnight or two. That my dad's sitting down watching TV.
No, wait. Don't say or 2, because I know with you guys, it's more than 2.
No. It was only 2. It was midnight. Take it easy.
We counted. It was a nightcap, okay? That's what we call it, a nightcap.
My dad's sitting down on the on the couch watching TV, and he's just like, Joe, I think I need to go to the hospital. And then, me and Nick were just there in the house, and my mom was like, hey, I got to take your dad to the hospital, and then da-da-da-da. And then, surely enough, that's what actually happened. They pulled your leg.
I swear, they did. They called me. He was getting a checkup. Yeah.
You just gotta know for a fact anything that comes out his mouth is a joke.
It really is. And he's my teacher. That's the sad part.
Are you sure that black belt's an actual real belt?
You should have seen the one he tried to give me.
You sure you didn't hire a couple actors? Just to boost your ego for some time and then destroy it and pull it out from underneath you.
Make him feel like he's better than he really is.
Yeah.
That sounds like me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
An elaborate ruse that took 7 years, huh? Yeah, beautiful.
That's very well thought out.
I would have.
You would have to give him props for that.
I would not put it past him. I think I'd have to clap. Slow clap and everything.
So, in your time that you've been doing this, I mean, if you think about from the time that you were born, and the path that you've been taking all along, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of things that, when we're young, we have no clue. Mm-hmm. We just have fun. Things are put in front of us. We play with it. Toss it aside. Go to the next thing that we can play with. Yeah. Right. Then when we get to school, to the point where in like not even junior high school, even elementary school,
towards the end,
we start to think and develop ideas, and we become a certain way, and we're either gonna be a real bratty kid, or we're gonna be a studious kid.
Class clown.
Or we're going to be that one kid that's in between that can kind of see everything and say, oh, I'm ahead of everybody else in front of me, meaning the other kids, right? Then as you move up, that drops down because you get to junior high school. The smarter kids above you kind of keep you down because you're new, shut up, you can't say anything. Mm-hmm. Then you get to a point where now you're
the top
senior,
one, yeah.
You're the senior, now everybody's looking up to you and you're doing the same thing there. But that cycle is constant.
Yeah.
Now you're here, and you're looking down at the bottom there and seeing the other kids who were having a hard time or are bratty or just not. And it sounds like you want to be up on the top of that mountain and say, hey, guys, there's another way. Look at this. Mm-hmm. You might be down and out and your family's this and that, but look what I've been through. Mm-hmm. let me give you a message. Come listen to what I'm trying to say, and maybe it'll help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like how my YouTube channel is I'm trying to build and trying to start. It's called Tub Talks. Basically, it's me exploring my mind on different like live topics, and kind of just like through my own personal experiences and stories. You know, how do I perceive, value this word that I'm about to talk about for the episode, just to give people an idea of like, this is what I've been through, this is my thought. How can you adopt to it? Right. Change your life to the way you need to fit it yourself, right. You know, because true inspiration comes from like the true person within. So if you can actually open your own mind based off what I'm saying, then that means I'm making you a better person in like a small way through a video.
Right.
So the more, you know, I try to get my story out there and kind of like have people, you know, hear these, you know, how I view life, you know, it's potentially opening this new pathway for them.
Right.
And the only problem that I have right now is a lot of people, you know, you tell them these amazing things, you know, you give them these inspiring words, but yet people will not take the time to open their own mind because they're so fixated on what their life has always been.
Right.
So they're scared, and when people are usually scared, they revert back to their original way.
Tighter.
Yeah.
They hold on tighter, you know, and it's terrible because people just need to be obviously more open-minded, not single-minded, and kind of just like take in this life around them and appreciate it, and kind of just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain because...
You know, I get what you're saying, but even with me, right, even growing up, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but there was a long period of time.
He was very egotistic.
Right. No, but there was a long time when I wasn't hanging out with the family.
Yeah.
And, you know, our family is huge. I mean, I told everybody that we have 8 sisters, 2 brothers, and we have, and all of you, they all have like a bunch of kids.
Children, grandchildren.
But there was a point in my time where I stayed away. Something happened. And I didn't want to be with that family. And I went to a dark place, and I didn't want to be with everybody, whatever else. And it took my father's accident to bring me back out of that.
Yeah.
Or when he was getting really sick, before he passed away. But it was hard. I mean, hearing you say, oh, listen to me, listen to my story, maybe it's going to help you. There's a struggle for people who are in that dark hole, like I was. And like Naeem said, they don't want to let go of that because they, you know, you always get so comfortable being there that you feel you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And if you get away from that,
it's new, so it's
it's going to hurt you more.
Right.
Yeah, they think it's going to hurt them even more trying to step
Right.
into this new world.
Right.
And what I always try to teach and promote people, you know, I always want to learn and understand someone's life fully, entirely. So that way I know how to envision their life and envision like this best future for them. And if I can do that and push them to kind of see it, you know, for them to like, okay, I kind of see what he's trying to do for me. He understands my life. He's talking to my basically soul right now. You know, maybe I should take this next step and kind of see where he's trying to put me.
Now, what do you feel like you've been successful in that with some of the people you talk to, or is it like a long battle of constantly beating it?
You know, it's funny because I do have some friends that like, you know, it's a hard battle. You know, they're not listen to me, and then there's some that are like really genuinely taking, and if they don't listen to what I say, then they think they're going to lose me as a friend, and then they don't want that at all.
Wow.
So
that's a hard juggling thing, isn't it? You want them to be themselves, but you also don't want them to feel like they have to cling on to you to keep your friendship.
Well, because based on just the way that you two have just talked about your dark places and how you got out of it, for the both of you, it took something extreme to happen to shake you loose from that, to shake that grip loose enough for you to be like, okay, I have to do something else. And it became such a focus that you almost forgot about how you used to be.
Right.
But
I didn't need to change my name.
hey. To be someone new, you got to create someone new, right?
I love what you've done.
No, it's a great thing because it feels like you're sharing this extreme moment in your life, so then others won't have to get to that point, won't have to reach the point where they have to suffer something greatly to be shaken into the enlightenment that you've reached.
Yeah, and I always want to like tell people like you don't have to go through something traumatic like a car accident to actually like evolve yourself. You just have to actually push yourself mentally to actually just see it, and spiritually to just know it inside your body that like what you're doing with yourself right now is not the best way. You know, and I always just try to encourage people like, you know, let's really do something. You know, let's make something of your life. And a lot of people tell me it's like, yeah, you know, I want to be a better person. Like I want to do this, I want to do that. I was like, okay, well, what are the steps to get there? If you can see it, then you need to see these little steps.
Right.
And if you can see these little steps, then you're trying to create, how can I get to this one little step?
Yeah, just one at a time.
Just one at a time.
I used to tell people, I said, you know, what do you think will make you happy? And they would give me whatever. Like, oh, if I did this, I did that. I said, so what do you think you have to do to do that? And and you force them to answer these questions that they start realizing these are things that I'm not doing. Why am I not doing this?
Yeah.
And
You're forcing them to think.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I don't think.
And that's what I'm seeing what you're doing, because it's blowing my mind, because you're Pepe to me.
Yes.
Now and forevermore.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll give you that.
It's official. It's on
It's-
camera.
yeah.
He will always be Pepe to him.
It'll always be Pepe. But even in your top persona, I still see that Pepe in there. Playful, always joking. But I see this new guy who's like, no, I'm actually in control, Uncle Rick.
Yeah.
Pepe is just part of me that will shine through because of what that meant to me in my past. I haven't thrown away my past. I'm living side by side by it. That there are the separations that you will see that peek out from Pepe to Marcus to Philip to you.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
No,
'Cause
you're
that's-
getting it right, because that's kind of like what I always try to tell people too. You know, your past shapes you; it doesn't define you. The more you let it shape you, the more you can actually like, based on what you've learned, actually define who you're going to be in the future.
Right.
You know, and I always like try to tell people, you know, accept your past. You know, whatever happened in your past, accept it. Make it your strength. Don't make it like, you know, your weakness. The more you just push yourself to make things your strength, you know, the more you're just going to feel more positive. You're going to basically upbring your own body yourself, that no one's there to help support you.
Right.
You know, and that for me as Tup, supporting people, I'm basically kind of like my arms are underneath them,
Right,
but I'm
no.
not actually, you know,
Right,
carrying them
trying to
up.
lift
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
not doing
I
that.
want them to kind of like,
You're just there in case they fall, and you'll pick them right back
You're
up.
the spotter.
yeah, basically.
That's really, you know, this has been a different thing for us in our show.
Yeah.
You know, this is not what we usually.
It is and it isn't though,
Yeah,
because
usually our shows are funny and shit.
I'm drawing parallels between the idea of the many different ways out there that people have learned to better themselves. I better myself through my training. I am not the person I used to be when I first started this, and I'm a much better person in my own opinion. And I think that's the important part, is that whatever road you take, it inevitably has to become your own opinion of yourself. And it feels like you're giving people this template to be able to do that. And as long as they're willing to take the step forward, you're going to be right there with them along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. Most people don't have that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have
You know, and I always tell people, like, you know, from the first day that I met you, hearing your story, at that moment, I knew that I want to be on this journey with you. So they feel like that sense
You
of
are now-
support.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
now
mean?
there,
Like,
yeah.
don't be afraid to come talk to me if you need me, you know. But it's funny because you tell the people that, they don't come talk to me. You got to go to them.
Yeah.
Like how he kept trying to come to me. And
Right.
know?
It's a good example.
Spoken like
It's a
a
good
true
example. Yes.
Hey.
But he
admit-
does it to other people. He just doesn't like
Yeah.
it done to him.
It's because my mind is sharper than the blade, like my dad's. You know,
There you go. Yeah.
my mind's a
You
lot
know,
sharper.
I think, you know, the way you're seeing life now and the way it was thrown onto you, during that time that you're in the hospital and you were not cognizant of what was going on, and when you said you first opened your eyes, why am I in the hospital?
Yeah,
You know,
slipstream.
you get this idea that during that blackout section of yours, you're up there talking to God or something, a higher being, and he's filling your head with all these things to say, hey, from here on, this is where you should go, or this is what you should do. Because at a certain point, when you finally did wake up and you're out of that whole thing, you give yourself a little time to reassess what was going on, and these things start to peep up in your head to say, my life has changed. I'm different. I want to share this experience with people and get them not to do what I had to go through.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll make them a better person.
Right. Before they have to.
Because that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds corny. And it sounds like one of those movie of the week things.
Yeah.
But
Lifetime.
yeah, you know, right? But that's what I'm seeing, and that's at least what I'm feeling about all these things that you're all of a sudden doing that. Because you got to wonder, what planted that in your head?
Yeah,
You
where did
ever
that
think
come
about
from?
that? Right? Yeah, exactly.
What planted this thing after this car accident and waking up? I think it was just this idea of actual life itself. It's the, life is uncertain. Anything can really happen at any given moment.
Right.
You don't even know. And the fact that like now my whole entire family is connected by this one accident, by this one moment.
And not just your family, all of us.
Everyone.
All of your relatives. Because we look, I mean, ever since this has started coming up, you with your tough life, I see you in a different light.
Yeah.
You know.
He respects you now.
Yeah.
No.
Again, he's always trying to hurt me every time I'm just trying to say hi. He's ready to put me in a
Let me show you
headlock.
some. Let me show you some.
I'm trying to tough him up. That's what your dad said to do.
Right.
Dad said, hey, any chance you get, slap him.
I bet he didn't.
Not at all.
Not at all. He just wants to do it just to do it.
Yeah,
That's
because I
the
can.
excuse.
Because I'm his uncle.
I'm your favorite uncle.
Yeah, I'm that one uncle that gets to slap you around. Just
The other one's only half, but
Yeah. Oh.
he only does it half the time.
Half the time. Sorry, folks. I've been around them way too much, and I know way too much inside jokes. It's bad. It's bad.
Where do you go from here?
Where do I go from here? I think my life entirely just always has to constantly be moving, constantly be doing something, and constantly looking to just make an impact on anything and anyone in any given way, and really just shine like this light that I feel like I've just been blessed with.
Right.
And I think it's just amazing that I have so much energy in me day in, day out to give to people.
Right.
And I always say, like, Phil, aren't you tired? Because you always constantly help people. Like that can get tiring, like mentally, spiritually.
Dude, I have a backyard. I could
That's different.
Different
That's-
kind of-
that's- yeah, different kind of time and
I
energy.
can hope, right?
You can.
It's not gonna work unless the dollar signs are very nice. But it's just I'm always devoted to give my time and energy to people.
That's good.
And I just hope people don't waste that time and energy.
Right.
Just because that just means they're just very unappreciative of life.
Right.
And
Do you ever think, because you're saying that, do you ever think that you could get taken advantage of and have it go the wrong way?
Yeah, where's your mind
'Cause
on that?
That's got to pop up every once in a
yeah,
while.
so a lot of people, when I'm giving them advice, trying to help them with their life struggles, they take it in, they don't use it, they're wasting my time and energy. I've always just felt if they don't appreciate me, karma's just going to come back to them eventually.
Yeah.
It's just that idea that I just tell myself, okay, well, they screwed me over. They didn't appreciate me, my life, and like what I've gone through.
Right.
At some point in their life, I will just put it in my head, karma's going to get to them. And when karma does, they're just going to eventually just reflect back, damn, I kind of shouldn't have done that to him. And then they come back to me and I'm like, well, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget.
Right.
So, it's...
Yeah. I'm enlightened, but I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, I don't want to say revenge is going to happen, but, that's always going to be there in the back of my mind.
Well, yeah,
and
and it should be, because then you have to understand, like they always say, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to look at that.
Not quite, but yeah, something along those lines.
I mean,
Rick.
I'm paraphrasing.
Horribly.
terribly.
Horribly.
He's
But
old.
and it's tough that you have to do that, because I get that. I'm a very helpful guy, or at least I feel I am. But I get that every once in a while, where I did something great for somebody, nobody else helped them out, and then they slap it back in your face, or they just walk away as if you never did anything.
All right.
And it happens, and I worry about, you're trying to reach the masses, which means that can happen even that much more.
Yeah, on a larger scale.
And if we're, as an individual, if we're not ready to understand that does happen, and we're not prepared, we could go horribly wrong and get back into the funk that we're trying to get everybody else out of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's something that's...
That it definitely does happen, and I think for me personally, like what I end up doing when I meet someone new, I read their energy, I feel their vibes, and kind of just see like how they're gonna end up treating me, you know. And it's very easy because I observe everyone, I watch everyone, I listen how they talk to people, how they, you know, text or whatever, and kind of just like base like my idea of like who this type of person is,
right?
And then from there it'll be based on like how much help I'm willing to actually just
how
give
much
them.
energy are you willing to put out that way? Sorry, Naeem, then you aren't getting much now.
Cynical Fritz.
It's all right. I'm good.
He's surviving.
I'm okay.
Off the ego of the black belt, but you know, it's enough for him.
It's the little things, right?
It's the little things in life, you know. And I think for me too, just going based off that, it's the little things in life. I take the littlest thing and I teach people these super little things in life, appreciate it like on a bigger global scale. Right. And if you can do that, that means you can understand life, understand yourself, understand the people around you, and just be appreciative of just what's really in your life altogether. Yeah. And
because if it's simple, people can latch onto it a lot better. Yeah. You know, if it's too complicated, then they're trying to figure it out.
I heard something you said which really kind of blows my mind. You said global. How do you get there?
How do you appreciate something on like on global?
Well, even because you're wanting to put this out globally. Yeah. You're wanting to get, you know, I mean, even after Tough Life and the new brand that you're coming with, the Me
Pals,
Too.
We are pals. Yeah.
Because even when we do our show, I mean, we've only got 173 subscribers,
right? Yeah,
right?
I saw that. Yeah.
And we've been at this since May. It's a hard journey. It's hard to get to people.
Put yourself in front of an audience or in front of people to kind of see if they'll actually latch onto it and kind of
right.
like,
it's
you
tough
know.
Though, right? I mean, do you find that that's a battle for you sometimes, or
a little bit, but that's the best thing about it because I'm, you know, thinking, you know, I'm opening my mind like, how can I actually? You're trying to chip away. How